Uh, I think we should be live, that everything should be fine. So hello everyone. I hope that you're having a good day and welcome to another Simplify webinar. Um, Again, I'm Dragan Metikos. I'm the lead RPA analyst at Simplify and partnership manager. And today we will talk about another important topic. In our previous webinars, we mentioned AI and or new wave of AI and these new regulations and laws about it, and how it's going to be integrated in every part of our daily business. And today's topic is also going to be something which is very important to mention and raise awareness about, and it's sustainability. I'm sure that similar to AI, you heard about it, maybe you got some information about it, but let's say for me personally, I've never heard about some, let's say, actual next steps, what it means to the company, how it's going to impact our daily business. And that is why we feel like it is an important topic to discuss, and we will try at least to share some of those key insights that can help you to initiate your sustainability journey. And of course, we will talk about also some strategies and also role of technology in sustainability initiatives. So we're going to mention some of these things, how which tools exist, how can they help you, and then also we will share where Simplify focuses on when it comes to process automation in sustainability. And then at the end, same as always, we will have a short Q&A session. So feel free to leave your questions in the chat, and I'll try to reply to all of them. So first, let's start by explaining a bit what is sustainability, what it means in business, and why is it important. Here we added some of few definitions, but in essence, it means the integration of environmental and social impact in organization strategy. So now, because of the whole awareness about the climate change and the consequences that it can have, companies started to implement these factors into their strategy, goals for the future. So you have this broader topic that is called ESG, meaning that you have these three parts: environment, then you have society, and then you have governance. So those three, let's say, main pillars are something that now companies are including in their new strategy of and business operating models. It is something that many of the let's say smaller or medium-sized companies are still not too aware of, but the large companies are already implementing this. And again, it's something that's going to be pushed from, let's say, the bigger players and the government. So it is something that we believe that also smaller and medium-sized companies should also watch out and start preparing. So like I said, it is something that is important to now consider. Other than those, let's say, regulations that we're going to talk about, you also, of course, have these benefits of your brand, of your reputation. Again, there is cost saving to eliminating, let's say, some of these wastes within your company and your carbon footprint. And again, as the whole term says, it's sustainable. So it's something that also will enable your company to operate in the longer distant future and easily adapt on all of the new initiatives that will come in the future. So definitely it will also help you, by mitigating all of the risks, in your work, because there are some, let's say, hazardous materials, depending on the industry that you work in, that can also have a pretty big negative impact on your business, and prevent you from staying relevant on the market. So we're going to share now some of the, let's say, main problems that we saw when it comes to this topic. So as we said, a lot of topics are raised. A lot of people talk about it. A lot of companies are talking about it. But as you can see, only let's say 60% of them have a really clearly defined sustainability strategy. Other ones are just, let's say, trying to incorporate something within their budgets and within their project plans, but it's not something that is achieving some bigger impact. So these four things is something that we wanted to, let's say, talk about and raise awareness about, which is, first of all, the regulations. So you will see on the following slides, I will share some of these key laws and initiatives that came from these recent events that we had about sustainability. Then we have a part of CO2 calculation. So what is the problem here is that still many companies don't know how to calculate this. They're having trouble to find the right methodology. And that is also then related to this external support. So since this is a very specific topic and it requires a really experienced consultants and experts in this field, and there are not too many of them out there. So for companies, it's again difficult to find this external support, find the right consultants, find the right team that can help them to start with these sustainability journeys and also align with all of the laws and the regulations. And then we also have data collection. So for the companies that maybe started and kind of are aware and they want to, let's say, calculate their CO2 emissions, one of the biggest challenges is data collection, because it's still something that many companies do manually, trying to collect all of the data from multiple systems and put it in that tool that they're using for the calculation. And that's something that is also very difficult to do and very time consuming. And again, if we link it to the problem of not knowing maybe or not using the right methodology for calculation, it can also lead to doing something in vain and not using not having the right, let's say, waste management. So I'm sure that many of you heard about COP, or this Conference of Parties for the climate change. So pretty recently, I think about a month or two ago, there was a COP28 climate change conference in Dubai in the UAE, which was one of the biggest events so far when it comes to climate change. It had over 85,000 participants and over 150, heads of state and government. So it was a really, let's say, big event where many of these, let's say, decisions were made regarding the next steps towards the, this greener or net zero future. And here we shared some of the key takeaways, but the main thing is that now pretty soon there will be some regulations regarding reporting about the wastes and emissions for the CO2. Big investments were committed for these climate change initiatives, and there will be, let's say, a bigger awareness on the accountability of the companies and countries towards achieving all of the goals that were set out for this sustainability journey. Let's say, these are some of the global stats, but if we talk about European countries or the EU, I would say the biggest one is this Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. So this is what I mentioned about certain reporting that will be required. So this initiative already started in January, but of course, it is expected, at least during the year of 2025 and 2026, that this will be a much bigger topic to talk about among the companies. But definitely, this is, we have a set deadline for everyone to apply this until 2028, and it will apply to, let's say, all of the companies of all sizes. And that is why we wanted to start discussing this topic, because this time, even though if maybe we look at it now, it's like 4 years, and but it will pass quickly, and even us, like we're trying to always do our research, stay relevant, and always have this latest information. Sometimes even we miss out some of the key things, or see like, hey, it's already 2 years since we are talking about this, and it's really important to start taking some action. Also, we have this Fit for 55, the EU's initiative that has this goal to eliminate at least 50% of gas emissions by 2030. So this is definitely something that's going to be pushed by the government, as well as the, let's say, market itself, because the companies who start with this first, they will gain some advantage on the market, and they will be more competitive than others. And of course, you have many other, let's say, many other of these regulations. Here we wanted to just maybe list out the key ones. And it's definitely going to be something that it's going to be divided in multiple parts. So we will have more information on the, as well as the financial part of and also the penalties of not having and not be aligned with all of these strategies. But it is, let's say, already it has already started. So we encourage you to check more information about this. And of course, you can reach out to us as well. We have, consultants in our team that are specialized for sustainability. So we would be able to help you in defining the best strategy to move forward. But here we wanted to also talk a bit more about the technology in sustainability and automation in sustainability, where Simplify focuses most on. So there are already a lot of these tools that you can use for sustainability. Some of them are just reporting tools. Some of them provide end-to-end solutions. So, for example, since we are partners with Microsoft, I had the opportunity to see Microsoft Sustainability Manager in more detail, let's say. And for example, it started as a carbon footprint model, but now it expanded on also water and waste management. So they're integrated with any business systems, and they can provide you like with also customized reports and gaining visibility into your organization emissions for all of these wastes. For example, this CO2 AI, they use AI in their solution, again enabling more customization and easier data collection. So there are a lot of these tools that can already help you in your journey. And as you can see, if you use tools, and if you have automated solution for these measurements, there are definitely bigger chances to have successful tracking and monitoring of your carbon footprint emissions, and also water and other waste management. So, but before, let's say, moving to this technology, we always, as our like Simplify message is always process before technology. As we said here, you also need to have the right data, you also need to have the right methodology and the right plan, and then introduce the tool that fits your needs the best. So that will enable you to fully utilize all of these technologies. So to establish first a good system and prepare your data. So for the automation strategies, We focus mainly on automation of carbon footprint calculation. As you can see, there are a lot of these branches when it comes to sustainability, such as transportation, recycling, waste management, green buildings, energy efficiency, and so on. And some of them are more relevant in one industry, some in others. But again, if you want to start with your sustainability journey, we think that this automation of carbon footprint calculation is something that is going to bring the biggest benefit to companies who are starting, because they can apply it, they can adjust it in the future, because it's really important to set this whole process the right way from the start. And then you don't have to worry about moving to another tool or adding some other tracking options and so on in the future, and not have any, let's say, problems when it comes to regulations. Again, you will be fully compliant, and you will be able to easily adapt. So that is why we focus here. As we said, there are already some standards and frameworks when it comes to reporting initiatives, such as the GHG protocol, such as this new standard of ISO 14064. So that is something that we are also familiar with. So it's easier for us to establish this whole model and be compliant with all of the industry standards. The second thing is that, as we said, like, one benefit is for you to have everything in place, and also we can enable you to have monitoring and reporting in real time. So again, it won't require any manual extracting of data from the previous periods, and trying to summarize everything and look at the actual data that you need. But we would be able to set up and customize real-time reporting. And then that will also help you to not just save your time and your resources, but it will also help you to analyze the data quicker and bring better decisions for the next steps. And why we also, when we did our research and we talked about a lot of our clients and companies, we saw that as we mentioned at the beginning, some companies are still not aware how this whole thing works. They don't have the calculation in place, and it is a really, let's say, painful and stressful process to start with. So when we talked about current challenges, when it comes to carbon footprint calculation, first of all, it was about software solutions. So there are a lot of solutions out there. Again, some of the companies are already using multiple solutions for tracking, for data collection, and so on. And they just don't know which ones are the best ones for them. Then we have even bigger problem, which is manual processing. As we said, in most cases, these tools that are used for collecting data are not integrated between each other. So again, it is required from the employees to manually gather this data and combine it in one working file in order to have, let's say, a combined data that you can work with. So besides being a stressful thing to do, it is also a very risky thing to do because of the manual work performed by people. You always have this chance of errors. So due to just human factor, especially because we're talking about large volumes of data. So, the bigger amount of these things that person needs to move, transfer, repeat, and do, the more likely he's going to make some mistake. He's going to paste something in the wrong column, or he's going to miss to transfer all of the necessary data, and so on. And not only that, the third part or the last part is also that over 3 months is an average, let's say, that is required for companies to actually calculate their carbon footprint, just because of this large amount of data and large amount of manual processing. So especially if we talk about now of this whole fast industry and dynamic market, it's really important, as we said, to adjust quickly. So spending 3 months on just collecting the data and having the calculation is definitely something that's not going to work in the near future. So we that is why we decided to, let's say, support companies in automating this process. And how we do it? So we, let's say, are incorporating our Simplify methodology as always. But if we talk about carbon footprint calculation, definitely we work with our sustainability consultants in order to first customize this scope of the calculation and what are we going to do. It is important because it's different for companies, and their sizes and their plans. So that is why it is always first important to establish a clear plan and then move forward. And then we use technologies such as RPA, or robotic process automation, for this data collection. So we want to replace people from manually collecting all of the data, and we want to have these software solutions that can do that for them or instead of them. So RP is definitely the main one, but of course there are other technologies and tools that can help us with data collection, and also then calculating the carbon footprint and preparing the results of those calculations through some reports. And that is where we use other tools, again, Microsoft Power Platform as the main one, which has Power BI as a reporting tool, which has other solutions that can help us to have also a customized app, let's say, for companies where they will be able to track everything that they need when it comes to carbon footprint. Of course, OCR APIs and other things can also be used depending on whether we need some integration between different systems, or we need to look at some physical documentation that is scanned, or we need to let's say broaden the scope of this automation. So this is, let's say, we try at least to make it as simple as possible for the companies, meaning that we want to help them to just collect the data that we need for this, but let's say cover the whole process as much as we can from our side to develop this whole solution, because that way we are more efficient. We don't bother companies, but to discuss and talk about some of the terminology within the sustainability, different metrics, different methodologies for calculations. And I'm sure that many companies don't want to hear about that as well. They just want to have a good solution that can help them. So that is why for us, let's say the first part, or just seeing the current state, is where we need the company support the most to try to see what we need, and then let's say the rest is on us on finding and preparing the best solution possible. So we wanted to let's say cover the key points and not open some discussions, let's say, about some specific laws or some specific things within the sustainability. We wanted to give you some brief highlights and introduce you to the whole topic, and maybe raise awareness to continue this discussion within your organization. And then, of course, we will probably have also some webinars where we will maybe deep dive in some of these parts. But of course, you can also reach out to us for then maybe some meeting and some consultation where we can talk about your plans for the future and maybe some specifics within your organization or your industry. But that is why this webinar is a bit shorter, but we wanted to also leave out some time for your questions and comments, maybe to maybe open some interesting discussions. It will be also great, and I would encourage you to maybe leave your comments in the comment section, like to share your awareness about this, like how much did you know about sustainability? Does your company do anything about sustainability? What are some of the best practices that you are familiar with? I think that will be also beneficial to kind of have your point of view as well, and to continue to spread out the word. Because as we said, the clock is ticking. It is something that is going to be, in the mainstream business. It's going to be required by law. So we have to work on it and prepare the plan on time and try to have a sustainable future. So I'll wait for a couple of minutes to see whether we're going to have some questions. Let me just check the LinkedIn as well. Okay. I think we don't have any questions. At least I don't see them so far. So feel free to leave out something later on. If you think of some of the questions, I'll answer to you later on throughout the day. So thank you so much for joining. We finished the webinar a bit earlier. We didn't want to, let's say, take too much of your time. Feel free to reach out to us. You can reach out to me as well in the LinkedIn direct messaging, but we are happy to support you and maybe have some, as I said, consultation meeting to maybe hear what are your problems when it comes to this sustainability initiative, and then help you to discuss what would be the next best steps. So thank you again, everyone, and yeah, wish you the great rest of the day, and see you on the next Simplify webinar.